Boom. Hey internets, quick question that was asked on one of the other videos where I was talking about screen printing. How do I get the correct color when I'm choosing color for getting t-shirts done? So this is more of a green question or a beginner question, but it's a very, very good one because I didn't know, just like you didn't when you first started, if you do know the answer to this. So the short answer to it is Pantones, and while you're watching this you can open up a tab and just kind of pop Pantones in there. Pantones are basically the universal way of communicating color, so we use that across everything, and I use it so much that you can see it's on my tool board of things that I access frequently. So Pantones are also used not only in printing, it's used in paper printing, which happens less and less now. We also use it in fabric and interior design. So anything that's a fabrication, right? So anything from fabrics we wear to fabrics that might hang on, I pointed here, there's no curtain. Curtains and anything you might use for interior design, pillows, anything of that nature. So when I create a tech pack and I'm calling out specifications and I need a very specific color, this is the language that we use. And so just like in the thumbnail, you'll see the fan books. This one says Jon Phenom because people always steal Pantone books. They're very expensive. So if you did open a tab, you'll probably get Pantone.com. By the way, Pantone has a bunch of really great resources on color and beyond. So check them out and follow a lot of their resources they have. There's several videos for me to get into, which I will. By the way, Pantone is not paying me for this, but I love if they would, so Pantone hit me up. In any case, the books look like this. They get updated frequently, but a color, for the most part, a color is a color is a color. I had an unupdated Pantone book for quite a while that I had since 2000. I did that for a long time, and then I was able to get my hands on another one. So this one is a Pantone for Textile, and as you can see, there's just a library of colors. Okay, so if you're wondering, that's how you do it, because the lighting that I choose here for whatever color this is, for this color, is going to be different on your screen, and it depends on how your screen is calibrated. So I always laugh when people see a file and say this isn't the color that I want, because the way I design it on my computer versus the way you open it up on your computer can be calibrated very differently. And imagine being on the phone and telling a screen printer that you want royal blue. Well, literally there's a ton of royal blues that you could choose from. So picking a Pantone, like say this fuchsia color is your company fuchsia color. So it's important to mark that and note it and have that color represented on your tech packs or what have you. And say that's the color that you want for a t-shirt design. What it does is once you call it out on your specifications, it gives the screen printer a reference color to work off of. Now, this is a little bit more detailed, but sometimes in a menu they'll have mixing fees if you want them to mix the color exactly towards that color, and they could charge anywhere from $20, $15, $10 for it. Typically what most screen printers do is if you go into a screen printing shop, they actually might have a wall like this, but it'll be filled with cups of different plastisol colors. So if it's a fuchsia, they'll take something that looks closest to that fuchsia color, and then they'll mix. The screen printer who's talented at mixing, because that's a craft on its own. You can imagine trying to mix colors for your first time. That would be a nightmare. It takes a long time to kind of master because there's not a specific science to it. A lot of it has to do with time and just getting time into mixing. But the guy at the screen printing shop will take that color that's closest to it and put it into another container and start mixing to make it lighter, darker, a different hue, a different shade, etc., etc. So typically what they're going to do is eyeball it anyway, unless they have the service of mixing it, which they're going to charge you more for. But in most cases, they're going to get it pretty close. Now, if you're one of those people that is super specific and you have to have it a very specific color, you can call it out and then ask them to mix it custom. Some people won't even tell you that they're offering the service because they don't want to go through all that trouble for a small order if it's a small order. You know, because ranging all the way to working with a big company. When I owned my screen printing shop, I worked with Blizzard, which is a $6 billion company. So they had very intricate designs that would have up to 14 screens. So that's 14 different layers of color. And so in that scenario, they would have an art director come out on site and approve the color. So he would be looking at the palette, he'd be looking at the print once we cured it. Cured means drying, once we put it through the long dryer chamber, and see what it looks like when it's done and it's all the paint is all settled. He'll actually go through and approve it on the spot, wait for possibly hours, but that's what it's like for a very large company that's doing like 1,000 pieces of one design that has 12 different layers. So a little bit less relevant if you're doing a two-color design, you're just doing your logo or anything, but I just want to give you guys some reference so you can understand up and down what a more difficult print might look like and get you educated towards it. So Pantone is how you pick your colors. Typically our screen printer is just going to pick one close and kind of eyeball it, but just so you know, that's how it's done. And then when the proper way to do it is to use Pantones on a tech pack. Definitely with apparel, that's what we use. Sometimes it's the same scenario when they're matching up fabric. They'll say, hey, we have this open fabric that's really close to it that's available in the market. Because if they create a specific fabric for it on its own, you're going to have minimum yardage to pay for. So that's a whole nother video. So for all my clothing line people, just giving you a complete scope of what that all looks like. Hope that helps. Big shout out to my people at Pantone. Hope that helps. Any other questions that you guys had, please drop it all down below. You can email me at hi@jonphenom.com. Follow the kid on social media when you get a chance. I'll see you on the next video. Bye.